Most of us are actually playing a certain role or a character in our lives in order to be liked. We even go so far as to please other people for that. In this video, I'm going to show you why you care so much about what other people are actually thinking and what you can do to stop that. Hey, I am Cummins. I am a self-love mentor, and I'm here to help you to be your true, authentic self. So why do you try to be entertaining or interesting or funny all the time when you are with friends, for instance? Why do you actually not speak up when you feel upset or you feel hurt in some way to your partner? Why can you not tell him or her how you really feel? And why do you go along and do a certain thing, maybe going partying or going to a certain sport event, going dancing with friends because they do that to fit in? Now, we all, of course, are social beings and we all need to be liked. This is part of our human makeup. But isn't it going a little bit too far to play a character that we are not and to pretend to be someone we are not? Yes, of course it is. And I want to highlight now that everything that we do here is actually always based on one reason: fear. It's always based on fear. So when we are pretending to be funny or entertaining, we are doing that because in the past we were liked because of that, and we are fearing if we don't do that, we maybe will not be liked anymore. We don't know what else to do. We've never thought about being our true self because that was not accepted. Or when we are sharing our feelings in the past, it was maybe detrimental. Maybe we got shouted at, maybe we got dismissed or even told that how stupid that is to feel like that. And so immediately we would shut down our feelings, right? And we are not allowing ourselves to be true and authentic. Not even in close relationships. How can that ever be a harmonious relationship and a fulfilling and loving one? Or we might go along and say yes to certain events or outings that our friends want to do because we don't want to be left out. If we say all the time, oh no, I don't like drinking actually, and then we would lose these friends, right? Again, it's fear of losing the friends, and so we are trying to mold ourselves into a person we are not. Now, if you're at the time at this place, where you actually feel you had enough of that, and you maybe just need a little bit more courage, I want to give you that little push. Really become aware of what does it cost you to play this role? What does it cost you of not being open and honest and vulnerable? And what does it cost you to pretend to like something that you don't like? Is it worth doing it? Now, write out, first of all, if it helps you to journal, this is a good technique to actually write out, how do I feel when I do this pretending game? And really become very, very honest with yourself. And find out the reason why you're doing it. So keep on asking, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? And why am I doing that? Every time you've written out a sentence like, oh, I do that because I don't want to lose my friends. Why do you do that? Because if I lose my friends, I will be all by myself. And why do you do that? Because I really, really hate being by myself. It feels very scary. And then I will be sad or something, yeah? So basically, you're coming to the root cause more and more, and then you're realizing you are trying to avoid something. You're trying to avoid an old scenario that happened a very long time ago, and you're always acting out of fear. Now, this is something we all do, and it is something, it's like being on the surface only time. It's always on the surface, always just living on the surface. And living in our mind, because the mind is trying to tell us, don't do that, be like this. And it's trying to prevent you from danger, from having this old fear, this old pain come up again. But you probably have noticed that it's actually pretty draining and it doesn't make you happy. It maybe even makes you feel really bad. and you haven't admitted that to yourself. So if this is you, I want to really encourage you to become aware of what you're doing there, and then know that you no longer have to do that. But for that, you have to love yourself more than going along with that fear. So for instance, I always had this fear of not being good enough and doing things wrong. And when I am not good enough, then I will somehow not succeed, or I will not be liked. I don't actually know the real reason, but I know that I had this ongoing inner drive in myself to put myself down when I wasn't doing things good enough. I was always commenting inside, oh, I could have done that better. That wasn't good enough. I should have done this. Like, I need to do that next time. That's not good enough. So I was never praising myself, and I was oozing out the energy. I'm not doing this good enough. And guess what happens? I'm not doing that thing good enough. So I was coming from a fear-based scenario, say, and that's like a tension, isn't it? There's always tension there. How can I ever do something good enough in the judgmental eyes when there's tension? We can only ever produce something really inspiring and beautiful and loving that other people find amazing when we are doing something from our own love, from joy, from inspiration, from really wanting to create something. So this is the key point, actually, to notice that you're doing something to please someone else, or because you have given the power to someone else, or you have given the power to your mind that says you're not good enough. And by giving your power away outside of yourself, you can never win, and you can never feel free, and you can never love yourself. So what it really takes here is to love yourself even though you are not good enough, or even though you're not entertaining people, or even though you're feeling sad or hurt. Are you able to do that? Because that's what it takes to get back to true freedom and to be your true self. It takes to love yourself no matter what. It takes to love yourself, including and specifically all those things you don't like or love about yourself. Only when you embrace yourself exactly as you are today, and that means loving the flaws, loving those things that you think are no good or are bad or are unlovable, the things that you think you have to hide. Those things have to come out into the light. And then you can connect with people who love you as you are. And when you have friends who love you as you are, you can feel the freedom and the joy and the peace that comes with it naturally without having to do anything. And that is worth a million. I've done this pleasing thing all my life. I was obliging to others so that they would love me. I was playing that game of doing certain things in a certain way that, so that I will be loved. But really, it was always because I believed firmly that I'm not lovable, that I'm not wanted, and that I'm not loved. And therefore, I thought I had to do certain things to be better, to be more perfect. But that perfect state never comes. It's just because of the belief that I'm not loved, I did all that stuff. So find out deep inside yourself, tune in deep down. Why are you acting like you have been? What do you actually want? What do you actually need that you are not allowing yourself to have because of a certain belief? This is the key. This is how you stop caring for other people's opinions. You know, you can only be free when you can be your true self. When you really, really do not care how people will react, what they will do, and if you would lose them. If you are able to look the fear into the eye, you know, the worst case scenario that you will lose your friends, say, you will lose your partner. If that's the fear that you're having, look it into the eye and allow it to be there. You can even go so far of putting yourself into a situation that you would maybe usually avoid because you're fearing to lose your friends, and say to the fear, hey, come on, be here. I'm okay with you. I'm going to face you now, and I'm not going to hide anymore. And if you can do that, that's the fastest way to get rid of that fear. And it's the fastest way to be your true, authentic self, and to be the real you, and to embrace you as you are. So this is my tip for you. This is the process that I've done to help myself, is to actually embrace the fear, to love the fear, to let it be, and not run away from it anymore. Now, if this helped you, please give it a like and share this video so other people can also learn to love themselves, because that is what we need if we want to have a successful, harmonious, and loving life. We cannot have love in our lives if we don't love ourselves. Okay, I look forward to being with you next time, and have a beautiful, loving day. Until next time, bye for now.